what you become is directly connected to what you eat. And that is what Ayurveda talks about all the time. That if you eat a piece of bread, you become like a bread. If you eat sattvic food, you become this light of sattva. When we talk about metabolism, what is metabolism? And most of you know what metabolism, you by and large know that metabolism is something that keeps you healthy. That's all you know. You know what immunity is. You know that immunity is something that will help you to fight diseases. Now, when I have to break down what metabolism exactly is, it says it's the process when food breaks down into nutrients. How do you increase your metabolism? Is whatever you're eating, if that is breaking down into nutrients and it is getting passed from one cell to the other, and this in turn will turn that food into energy. Now, it's as simple as that. So whatever you're eating, so now you find out what you're eating. And that is why they say that yatha pramande tatha pinde, yatha pinde tatha pramande. We've heard it so many times, so many people are talking about it. But how many of us are there who are really understanding what it really means? So that's what metabolism is. So it's written in your slide. It's when food breaks down into nutrients and passes into each cell of the body. And that in turn turns this into energy, and this is metabolism. So please be mindful about what you're eating. What you become is directly connected to what you eat. And that is what Ayurveda talks about all the time. That if you eat a piece of bread, you become like a bread. If you eat sattvic food, you become this light of sattva, where you become illuminated from your body, from your mind, and from your soul. So that is why the fundamental principle of Ayurveda relies heavily on food. So how do you then enhance your immunity? If you're eating the right food, and if that food is something according to you which is very, very justified, then what is immunity? Now, the intelligence of your body. It is the intelligence of the body to fight your enemies, like several kind of viruses and bacteria, microbes that can be causing diseases. That is what immunity is all about. So that means that whatever you're eating, if it's healthy, if it is nutritious for you, it is turning that into energy. But if you're eating something that is not nutritious for you, that gets stored and dumped in your body, and that later manifests as disease. So this is very important for you to understand that what your immunity is directly related to what you're eating. So number one is food. We are all in this world for food. And so the choices that we make when we eat our food is something that we all need to understand. Now, like you know, that metabolism basically will produce more energy. And so that energy will actually enhance your body's ability to fight diseases. And so it's very important that what you eat is directly connected to how immune your system becomes. Now we come to the next slide. It says, what is the human body actually made of? It says that it's a different kind of combinations. You're not just a person, right? You have thoughts, you have emotions, you have a certain inclination towards maybe this god or this guru or that guru. So we are a combination, a kaleidoscope of several things that talks about physicality, your mental well-being, it talks about your emotional well-being, and now more than ever of spiritual well-being. So you are not just mechanical objects. Otherwise, like I just said in the slide, we would all be the same. What makes us different? Even our fingerprints are different. The way we think are different. The way we perceive a particular situation, if we are 51 of us in this room, all 51 will have a different opinion. So we are unique in terms of our perception to whatever that is available to us. So Ayurveda says that if you are focusing on the correct kind of food, your mental or emotional perception towards the same situation will be very different from somebody else. So that is how important Agni equivalent to digestion, and digestion equivalent to food, and the cycle continues. So our Agni is what makes us unique. And that Agni, whether it is Jataragni, which is having the urge to eat food properly at all times because you're able to digest it, and Mandagni, where your digestive power or the digestive fire is not that active because you're not eating the right food. Having said that, you also have the mental connection and the emotional connection depending on what you are eating. So that's how important your food every day is. So when we talk about the inseparable food, you talk about the physical. So we are what we eat. It's very, very clear. We've spoken about in the last 5 minutes. We manifest what we think. So if you're eating the right thing, your thoughts will also go in the right direction. So Ayurveda says that if you're not eating according to the ritu, according to the seasons, if you're not eating according to your doshas, then there is a lot of imbalance in your body. And if that imbalance is there, you will not be able to live a happy, fulfilling life. So this is what it fundamentally says over so many texts, from the Charaka Samhita to the Ashtanga Hridayam. Every single text that talks about Ayurvedic wellness, it talks about balance of the doshas and equanimity with the 5 elements. We'll come to that slowly. I'm keeping it very simple, not making it too complicated and not creating too many layers. It's just very basic, upar se, for you to understand what the importance of food and what are the importance of Ayurvedic rituals are. Okay, we go on to the emotional reaction. It says that the way we respond to situations is directly related to our mental well-being. Our mental well-being is directly related to our physical well-being, right? So that's how it is all interconnected. And then when you come above that, there is a spiritual connection. There is a spirituality of you as an individual, and the whole idea of spirituality is to understand that we are all interconnected and that our journey is from me to us, and that is the core essence of Ayurveda. We talk about, that's why wellness then is propounded into 2 parts. How do you really be physically healthy? Physically health ke liye there is Ayurveda. Mental health expounded, okay, we forgot to write that, expounded by yoga. So it says that if you can bring together the body and the mind, it is yoga. And yoga means to remain in equanimity, to remain in balance. So now this is the base of Ayurveda. This is just a little bit of preview about how Ayurveda is, what it talks about, and how integral it is for you to understand that you are not just you are us. We are all interconnected to each other. So that is the reason that somebody had something in China and the entire world suffered a pandemic. So what happens in any part of the world will directly or indirectly affect you. And if every human being understands this, many people will be benefited. There will be no geopolitical strategy. Everybody will just live within their limits and work to better themselves, because then automatically people around them will get better. So this is about the base of Ayurveda. It is not just about the physical body or the physical body science. It is to do with understanding that you are part of the Panchamahabhoothas, the Agni, the Jal, the Vayu, the ether, the space, and the earth, that we all are the basic manufacturing of the same consciousness. And that's what Ayurveda says. And now we talk about rituals, because I want to really talk about the rituals of Ayurveda. And this is something that I think you all must really kind of practice. And that is the reason you are part of this entire arrangement today. So I've talked about 9 rituals that you can practice every day, every single day, right? So The whole life that we are living, we live in a very two-dimensional state. We do not really take account of how deep the very birth that we have had is. you know there is also the things that you eat, the things that you see, the things that you observe. The people with whom you are will greatly affect who you are as a person. So we will discuss this as we talk about the rituals. The first thing is going to bed early and waking up early. That is your first thing. Brahma Muhurte Utthanam. This is what it talks about. So it says that the body has a circadian cycle, and the circadian cycle will change every 3 to 5. And so the body goes through this massive change every day from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. You have to benefit your body, your mind, and your state between this time. And that is why Ayurveda very, very highly recommends that in today's modern time, obviously, the things that they wrote were relevant then, and they're relevant even now. But with gadgets and with so much of modern day stress and routines happening, it is strongly suggested that try and sleep between 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock every day. So there are many people that I know who sleep at about 9:30 and wake up at 3:30, and they've been doing this for almost 15-20 years, and I have seen a huge change in their life. I observe a lot. I generally am a person who will go into layers of understanding why certain things are done. And when I observe these people, because I interact with them, I see a massive change in them every single month. They could be my yoga students, they could be my fellow meditators, and I have actually observed that they've not fallen so ill. And I'm talking about most of them, 90% of those people whom I know. They've progressed financially, they've progressed spiritually, their families are much more happier. So there has to be a definite connection of waking up in the Brahma Muhurta. Of many of you who are already doing it will definitely vouch for it. And you will understand that the routine that this gives you, it gives your physical body and your mental body, is fantastic. So this is your first Ayurvedic ritual, which is propitiated throughout Ayurvedic texts and then talked about in great detail. The second one, a huge importance to Danta Dhavan, Gandusht and Kavan. So they say that once you wake up, it is very important that aap apne bed mein se aise hi mat uth jao. Don't do it like that. What you need to do is sit in the bed for a few moments, pray, find out what your entire day is going to be like, focus on the breathing once, twice, thrice, and when you're comfortable, rub your hands together, because these are your karmic energy modulators. They modulate every karma that you do. And then you rub your hands together, cover your face, open your eyes within your palms, and then wake up. So that if you can do, when you put your feet on the ground, in fact, the Indic Shastras say a lot of shlokas, a lot of important mental things that you should note when you get up, when you sleep. So if you are aware of those things and if you're practicing it, congratulations to you. After you get up from the bed, the first thing that Ayurveda talks about, shauch. So once you've relieved yourself, then comes the most important part of Danta Dhavan, Gandusht and Kavan. Now, if you've noticed, in the last 10 to 15 years, all over the world, dental health is suddenly coming into prime focus. More and more students are taking admission in dentistry colleges. Pehle aisa nahi tha. Pehle they would choose dentistry as a last if they didn't get into anything. Now there are people opting for becoming a good dentist, because dental health or dental illnesses have risen by more than 32% in the last 15 years. Why? Simply because we are not giving our oral hygiene that kind of importance. Ayurvedic ritual strongly recommend Danta Dhavan. So they say that you use, us zamane mein we had neem sticks, but now even if you're using a toothbrush, you can make a conscious choice to move from a plastic toothbrush to a wooden toothbrush or a neem toothbrush. You can choose. A lot of local people are manufacturing very nice, very earthy toothpaste. And Ayurveda says that your toothpaste or your tooth powder should be astringent, it should be pungent, and it should be spicy. Those are the three rasas that they tell that your Ayurvedic powder or paste must have. And there are a lot of brands out there who are doing some fantastic work by producing locally made toothpastes. Please source them, find out who they are, and source those toothpastes. I will strongly recommend that. It's been 14 years that I have switched completely to Dantmanjan that I make at home myself. But good Dantmanjans are available, and I always believe that anything that you touch with your own finger is pranic energy. So it's not that I don't use a wooden toothbrush. When I'm traveling, sometimes I do, but by and large, I use my fingers and I use a Dantmanjan. And in fact, my oral health has definitely increased. So do try to make these small changes if you're not doing it already. Then we talk about Gandusht. When we talk about Gandusht, it means oil pulling. Everybody is suddenly talking about oil pulling. What is oil pulling? Oil pulling basically is that you take about 1 or 2 tablespoons of coconut oil or sesame oil, depending on what your choice is. Take about 1 or 2 tablespoons, put that in your mouth and just gargle, or just leave it in your mouth and swirl it around your mouth at least for 2 to 3 minutes. Remember, you should not drink the oil. It just should be in your mouth. What it does is removes a lot of your ama or toxin. So more than that, it also stimulates the digestive system. It stimulates your tongue. So obviously after Gandush, your sense of taste will get very heightened. You'll be able to taste the actual purity of the substance. You will slowly start to reduce the masalas and the bahar ka khana, and Gandush does that to you. That's an experience I've had, and that now I don't really enjoy very spicy food, or I do not eat out most of the times, and I'm very, very happy. I don't miss out on anything. So if you have like a FOMO of checking out a new restaurant, all of that kind of comes down with a simple practice of Gandush. It's that powerful. But the whole idea is to practice it. We all know about it, and but none of us want to practice it. So Gandush should be done in the morning. So Danta Dhavan, Gandush, and Kavan. You take a garam pani, add a little bit of salt in it, and then gargle. That's it. So what it does is that your teeth, your gums become very healthy. Your larynx, your vocal cords, your tonsils, and in fact your entire respiratory channel kind of becomes very clean with just these 3 practices. So the wall of the mouth will become stronger, and for most people, the one benefit it gives, which you don't realize, is that it allows for wrinkles and fine lines to disappear. So this is the power of practicing Danta Dhavan, Gandush, and Kaval. It takes about 10 minutes, but my request is that, please take these 10 minutes out for yourself. If you're not able to do it every day, then at least 2 to 3 days a week. Start with that. Automatically, you will start practicing it every day. It's that good. Right? Most of the diseases you don't realize is because of the leftover food, very minute particles of food that is left over in your mouth. And that actually causes a lot of diseases, because that gets accumulated into your system. And over a period of time, it reaches a stage where it becomes such a serious disease, and then you have really no choice but to kind of, go for steroids or antibiotics or even surgery at times. So practice good dental hygiene. That is your second ritual.